I've been to a Chuck E. Cheese before, and I'll tell you this, it was awful because I remember that I stared at the animatronic for like 15 seconds and I had nightmares for a solid 3 weeks. And I was like 6 years old, mind you, so it was some good times. Welcome back. I'm Wizard in a t-shirt. You ever been to Chuck E. Cheese? No? Well, that's okay because you're not missing out. It's a shithole. Yeah, let me tell you that. I'm just spoiler, it's a shithole. But the thing about it is that it's a place that you have to at least go to once as a child and experience. Because once you've gone there, you'll either want to go back or never go back again. Just like my own experience. I've gone before, and let me tell you, I felt like it was a horrific dream that I was in until I left. And my dad did not even like being there. Let me tell you, my dad is one of the most impatient people of all time, and when he wanted to get the f out of there, I can now understand why as an adult. And it already sucks being in there as it is. Half the games don't even work. There's the giant wheel that's supposed to spin you around, but some fat kid always breaks it. And then there's the mouse. I can't lie, I do feel bad for the dudes that they stuff in those suits and they just have to walk around all day and basically play the fucking happy-go mouse that just gets kicked and add on by a bunch of kids. What a great way. And they're getting paid like what at this time? Probably like $8 or $9. Probably today still that much. Looking at Chuck E. Cheese itself, there's just a deep, dark evil that lies within it. There's just a very gross, disgusting layer that lies within it that children can't see, but only the adults can. And then once you grow up, you never ever want to see that place ever again. Because looking into it, there's just a lot of shit that goes on at Chuck E. Cheese. And let me tell you, for some reason, there's a lot of fights. Like, there's just a lot of fights that'll happen. Like a classic situation in a Chuck E. Cheese in Cleveland, where 3 people have pleaded guilty in a march of assault of a Chuck E. Cheese employee that the police say began with complaints over a malfunctioning photo machine during a child's birthday party. Investigators say 6 employees in the Cleveland suburbs of Parma were hurt in the March 6 attack. 2 suffered serious injuries. How the f does that happen? Seriously. Like, imagine being a child and you're literally just watching your dad be like, "Come on! Or God damn it!" And you see an employee come over and be like, "Now, sir, come on." No! Like, wouldn't that be one of the worst things you could ever see at your just at your birthday in general? See, wouldn't that be such a great, like, core Chuck E. Cheese memory, though? Just watching your dad go ham on a employee. But once again, just another situation that just shows, yeah, Chuck E. Cheese just loves to have its violent moments. But it gets worse there, because we haven't even gotten to the part where a man brings a knife into a Chuck E. Cheese. Because you see, a retired sheriff officer struggles with a man who brought a knife into a Chuck E. Cheese restaurant Saturday night, police said. Officers responded to a restaurant on Route 23 South at 7 p.m. on reports of a man with a knife inside the restaurant. Once again, just another situation where, can you imagine you're just a child literally just like playing the fucking whack-a-mole, and I don't know where you just look over and you see literally like 2 dudes trying to fight a dude for a knife? Wouldn't this just be your average day, just trying to enjoy, a weekend, and now you're just seeing like the worst thing of your life? Man, see, this is the thing. You go to Chuck E. Cheese to gain like the worst core memories, so that way when growing up you learn how to like encounter the adult world. When you see shit like that, you're like, it's alright, I saw that at Chuck E. Cheese once. And it just gets better and better, because the thing is like, when it's not in the outside areas of the Chuck E. Cheese, it's in the bathroom areas, because we have 2 men suspected of smoking heroin in the Chuck E. Cheese restroom. Yeah. 2 men face drug possession charges after allegedly smoking heroin in the bathroom of a Chuck E. Cheese restaurant in Costa Mesa, California. Colin Zabowski and Daniel Lubach were arrested after police saw them together inside a stall in the men's bathroom at the Chuck E. Cheese restaurant. A customer reported to police that the suspects were getting high in the family pizzeria restroom. There's a lot of rock bottoms, but I think it's a whole new definition to flat out have to go to jail and then tell the judge, yeah, I went to jail because I was smoking H in the bathroom of a children's entertainment pizzeria restaurant. He literally was getting high at Five Nights at Freddy's. But the best thing I think I found out of all of the research when it came to this has definitely got to be the fact that in the San Francisco area, there was 9 different Chuck E. Cheeses that were charged with a lawsuit for child labor. The U.S. Labor Department says teenagers at some of the restaurants were allowed to load and operate trash compactors, and at a Chuck E. Cheese pizza parlor, minors were allegedly allowed to operate a dough mixer. In both cases, labor officials says Chuck E. Cheese violates child labor rules. Why does this in some way also just like not shock me? Like, there's just a lot of evil in the world, and I want to feel like when it comes to like capitalist companies, especially I would have to guess with Chuck E. Cheese as always. But this is just also another thing that adds on to it, where it's like, yeah, you thought this shit was bad? Check this out. We're literally turning teenagers into slaves. It's like nuts, man. Also, just making them risk the idea that they could just get crushed or like burnt. You know, literally just whatever. They were willing to throw their ass into a lawsuit as it is, so they were ready for this. They were prepared. But as great and as terrifying as these stories sound, the real truths in horror stories come from the employees themselves. Which, going through the internet, I luckily managed to find a thread that talked about a lot of the horror stories that employees had found. And I gotta say, on this thread, there is a lot to offer. So I'm just going to go through and really read out some of my favorite stories. And do take in mind, these are from 12 years ago. So these are back from when 2014 was popping off with Chuck E. Cheese, you know, because today I would take it that I'm sure there's not a lot of excitement that goes on at a modern day Chuck E. Cheese. I mean, God knows, maybe we'll make another video one day just going in there and checking it out. Oh, cat's trying to talk, but let's move on to the stories. On to our first story. Worked there 20 years ago as a game technician. I'd get pulled out of my repair room to help understaffed areas, which I didn't really mind much. They asked me to be the rat one time. I love the way he says that, the rat. Dude, honestly, if I had to put that shit on, I would not be happy either, so as it is. I'm 6'7", so everything that was supposed to be baggy was comfortable, like that episode of The Simpsons where Homer goes to clown college. So I walked out there, over 7 foot tall with the head on and wearing my own shoes since the suit ones are too small. Children start crying and running away. The poor kid who was there for the birthday shit himself. So they immediately put me into the back room and get a guy from the kitchen to take over. They never asked me to do it again. Dude, honestly, I think that is a well done job. If you manage to scare kids and make the birthday boy himself, I would take that as 2 thumbs up at the end of the day. I don't know how old this person is at the time, but for a moment like that for me, even if it was like supposed to go well, I would be like, you know what? That's a W in my book, I'll tell you that. My second favorite story was the time the girl I was helping into the suit vomited into the head. So I take it from her and start carrying it out to hose it off. Once again, the kids start crying. I guess I should have been aware that bringing the severed head of Chuck E. Cheese across the floor could cause some panic in our young customers. This already sounds like it would be somewhat of a fun job to do. Like, don't get me wrong, probably horrible. Pay, even worse. But just to scare some children like that, just to bring like Chuck E. Cheese's head out, like, the beast is dead! You know, it would be quite a fun summer job. That's all I'm going to say. On to our next story. The one I worked at was apparently the best run one in the area, so we got people coming in from 2 hours away. So we were always over capacity and understaffed. And then from here, they kind of number some things out, and it just gets interesting as you go down. Starting from the top, kids shit on the slide. Someone had to climb the slide to clean it while the other kids on the top kept trying to come down. Don't let your kids run around barefoot. Every inch of the carpet has been covered in every bodily fluid known to man. God damn. And probably some unknown. Look at any kid wearing white socks. See how dirty they are? Those carpets are vacuumed every night, but only washed on Christmas Day. I did kid check a lot because I was good at faking cheerfulness. Okay. 3 separate occasions where parents were trying to beat me with their strollers and asked me to see their stamps. Worst manager on duty. Sent home everyone so we only had a skeleton crew. 1 kitchen, 1 GR, 1 cash, no kid check or showroom. He didn't stop people coming in when we hit capacity. It became as densely as a mosh pit. People were overflowing into the kitchen. Everyone was mad because we couldn't even get out to serve food. 3 kids were camping the salad bar and just shoveling into the hard-boiled eggs. They'd eat the entire pot immediately. I got stuck in the back prepping salad bar. I couldn't keep up with the egg demand. Imagine that, just being at a Chuck E. Cheese and being told by your manager, like, dude, we need more hard eggs. These kids cannot get enough of these hard-boiled eggs. More. Like, I just feel like at that point, it's like, what am I doing with my life? This is the kind of situation where even just reading at this point, it's like, I feel like I would just quit. I don't have to read more of this to already know that, yeah, I would just quit. On to our final story. Worked during high school as a game tech / guy who cleans up after shit customers at a CEC in Mississippi. First week on the job, working without someone watching me, and I had to physically get in between a young guy and an elderly lady while they were fighting. Lady stole 3 tickets from dude's daughter and threw them in the girl's face when I told her to return them. I'm a small guy, and my GM thought it was hilarious when I told him. Definitely not something I was expecting to do. I caught my technical manager, guy who worked on the games and nothing else, sleeping under the basketball games at least once a week. But he liked me and said I was smarter than anyone else in the store, so I never reported him for it. Okay. I guess you got some real brownie points from him, didn't you? So you took that as a win. He also decided that he wanted to personally train me to replace him as the tech manager, but I wouldn't let him since I was about to quit for college. He still decided that he was going to train me anyways because he liked the way I worked. Now for the worst, the Chucky suit. For the record, I was in it a lot, and all the other employees said I was the best at it, so I did nearly every party and show that came on when I was working. I never minded because it gave me a chance to be goofy until I had to get in 6 times in a row a couple of times. The show comes on 2 times and an hour plus whatever parties may be during that time. One of the first times, I had a young teen girl, 13 to 14, try to seduce me while I was in the suit. She followed me around in and out of the suit, got groped on the crotch and the ass on several occasions, can't say anything or do anything because you have to stay in character. Man, I can't even think of that, just having like some sort of teenager just be like, I love you, Chuck E. Cheese, you're hot as f***. You're just like, huh? Don't touch, stop, oh! It's stop! You know, I feel like it gets to a point where it's like, you can't just stay in character. But then again, it would be interesting if you had a manager that was like, if you break character, you're fired. Like, that would be insane. But then again, this is 2014, so... I had a grown man grab my arm through the cracked door of the Chucky room and try to follow me in while tickling me. That was freaky because that room is pretty much soundproof. I slammed the door on his face though. See, like, this is the kind of shit where it's like, imagine you have to stay in character and then you have a full-grown man trying to fucking do this. It went from a teenager who's like, now I'm full-grown man. What the f? What is going on at this Chuck E. Cheese? Had a kid sprint across the floor and punch me so hard the mask got knocked sideways like the movies. That hurts so much because it rips the Velcro and inner helmet around your face. During a busy hour, I did the show and got tackled by about 30 kids. When the mask hit the floor, it jumped into my mouth and a sharp piece of plastic sliced a piece of my flesh that connects my gums and lips completely in half. I bled all over the inside of the mask. Didn't even finish the dance, just ran back in the room. God damn. Jesus. Bleeding for this show, dude. You're bleeding for these children. Oh my god, that is like brutal, actually. My favorite is when a toddler, probably no more than 2, followed me around the store yelling, "Chucky is a stupid bitch," for about 10 minutes. I was laughing so hard inside the suit, I couldn't see straight. Then he started to kick my shins. The suit could suck alright, but didn't have to if you made it fun. But I have to say that the worst thing about working there is that I was there for a year and a half and never got more than 18 hours a week or any type of promotion despite knowing how to fix almost every problem that happened to any game on the floor and having special training from the tech manager. Some shit about having too many black shirts, I was a red shirt, starting position, in the store, but when one would leave, that slot would get filled by someone that had started working after I did. I hated that place so much. I needed the money, so I stayed until I had to leave for school. See, once again, this is the situation at the end of the day where the job itself is just so shitty, and I feel like even just management as it is when it comes to these places is always bad. Like, I don't think I've ever heard anybody say, oh yeah, this Chuck E. Cheese has great management, you know, they really treat me well. It's like, no, I think at the end of the day, everybody, including, you know, even the higher-ups, just hate their job and or their life, and just hate the fact that they have to literally work in a children's entertainment pizza parlor. So, I don't know, man. Like, at the end of the day, they're probably just taking it out on you as well. But this is just a situation of why Chuck E. Cheese just fucking is, you know, it's the shit. That's what I should be saying. It's the shit. Go to Chuck E. Cheese. Have a pizza. Because apparently that's what everyone fucking is like bragging about. It's like, you know, the Chuck E. Cheese pizza is pretty good. It's like, what the f*** are you talking about? There's other places you can eat We'll figure this out. We'll myth bust this bullshit. I will fucking have a Chuck E. Cheese pizza, and we'll prove this nonsense if it's good or not, okay? Because I swear, I already know. I already can know what it's gonna taste like. It's gonna be that fucking sandpaper under, you know, like very doughy. Everybody kind of knows what I'm talking about. It's like movie theater pizza, right? Where you get that you're like, this is awful. I wouldn't feed this to my fucking dog, dude. That's terrible. But ladies and gentlemen, that is all the horrific stories that we have for you today about Chuck E. Cheese. And luckily, there are a whole bunch more for you to look out. I'll luckily put the link for the thread below in the description, because believe me, there's a lot. But I really hope all of you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. And I know it's been a minute. Believe me, don't worry. I understand. I'm coming back. We're going to have some more active videos, and this is just the beginning of a new year. So I want to thank everybody so much for popping in. Have a good one. Have a great one. Have a fantastic one. If you go to a Chuck E. Cheese, please tell me in the comments what you thought of it. Did you enjoy the pizza? Did you get to go on the ride? Did you beat the out of the fucking Chuck E. Cheese mascot? Did you do something horrible? Remember, everybody, at Chuck E. Cheese's, it's where a kid can be a kid, not an adult. Okay, so don't do that. But anyways, have a good one. Have a great one. Deuces.